Welcome back to Rewind with Ellen, episode 20. We're back like we never left. I'm your host, Ellen J. Wanjiro.
I'm our co-host, Ro Carter. How are you, beautiful?
I am good. I feel like it's been forever and a day. It's good
It
to
has.
see you. It has, right? We take 1 week off and it feels like it's a month.
That
But
is true.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, it's pouring. It's raining cats and dogs out here on the East Coast. I'm sure you're getting some of that weather as well. You know, because you live in Jersey. That's an inside joke for people that have been diehard fans. Um, but yeah, we're getting hit by rain. So I'm done. I want to go to an island. I'm done. I'm done with New York. I'm done with the cold weather. That's it. I'm done.
But will you be done next week when it's in the 70s or?
No, I need that. It gives me a little energy so I don't just leave
Right.
the state. But I've thought about it. I've contemplated, just leaving.
Listen, I am with you on that. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna make it do what it do. It's been shitty all week, weather-wise. It's the type of weather that you don't. It's hard to get out of bed, right? Like you just work from bed if you can. Sorry for those that got to go in. Um, I know. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. But yeah, but it's been good, but productive. Productive is always a triumph when the weather is bad. It's hard to be productive, but
Because everybody just wants to sit home and cuddle and
yep,
order some food. That's all you want to do.
and just watch TV and movies. That's
There
like
you go.
that's like my dream. Like I don't want to do anything else but stay home, never leave, and watch film and TV, and then talk about it, which is what I kind of do now. But I have to leave the house.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Baby steps. So, what's today's show all about, Ro?
Today's show is about Ellen the Great
Ooh.
and how she became even greater.
Ooh.
So shout out to Ellen. Last time we guys spoke, Ellen was going to go on an amazing adventure and travel out to LA to go to the Oscars. So, oh my God, Ellen, you got invited to represent blackfilm.com at the Oscars. Please tell me first what that felt like to be representing blackfilm.com, to be at the Oscars, and what that meant to you.
Gosh, so many mixed emotions and thoughts, but a little backstory. So, blackfilm.com partnered up with the Academy about a year and a half ago. And so we've been sharing their DEI initiatives, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives with our audience. So we've, struck up a really good working partnership enough for them to reach out for the second year in a row because they invited us last year, 2021, but it was all virtual. But they reached back around again and invited us to the in-person award show this year. And at first, I remember getting that email and just being in like a state of shock. Like, was this a mistake? Did y'all mean to send this to somebody else, or like this was meant for? Was this for us? And it was, and so it felt good to get that recognition and to get that validation of all right, they see us, we see them, and so here we are. And then a couple of days after that, another invitation came in inviting me to attend and cover the Governor's Awards, which is what kicked off the Oscar weekend on Friday, and of course the show was on Sunday. So off I went to prepare and get my proverbial ish together so I can show up and represent blackfilm.com as I should, or Val would have my head.
Val don't play. Val don't play, everybody.
Val, for those that don't know, Val is the CEO and founder of blackfilm.com, and she don't play. So I showed up.
So you go to the Governor's Awards, and this is a big thing now because we already know that Samuel Jackson's going to be presented an Oscar. They give an honorary award to Danny Glover as well, along with Liv Ullmann and Elaine May. Mm-hmm. Danny Glover received the Jean Humanitarian Award. So when you get the invite, are you sitting down amongst these people, or they got you in the back seats, like way up in the rafters? You can't see anything. Like you like waving down, hey man, hey, how you doing?
So no, I'm actually like mingling with
Get out of
the
here.
Hollywood elite, right? So the Governor's Awards it's a non-televised event. And so this year it was particularly private or intimate because voting had ended 3 days before. Usually at the Governor's Awards, nominee hopefuls are just like going to studio tables, like putting their bid in, right? So that didn't happen this year. So that made it super intimate. It made it solely focused on honoring the people that you just mentioned. So it was a small crowd. So it was a small ballroom, like it was in the Ovation Ballroom, which they partitioned off, so it was half of it. And it was super intimate. Like while I wasn't seated at the table with the people, I was seated at the table with the Academy members, which that was huge because it allowed for more conversation, just more, pumping up blackfilm.com. But it's not odd. It's kind of cool because there was a couple, older black couple, who I later found out that night that one of them the wife had worked as a publicist in the film industry for like 35 plus years. The husband was a producer, which explained why everyone kept coming to our table to say hello to them. Like,
oh, okay. You were sitting with black royalty and you didn't know.
And I didn't even know. I'm just sitting there like eating my pot pie, like, oh, hi. Listen, because that pot pie was on and
so the food was on point.
Oh my God, the food was catered by Wolfgang Puck.
Oh, okay, all right.
Who returned again this year? So apparently, this is maybe his second or third year. I'm not sure.
You froze a little bit.
I never remember having such a delicious pot pie.
Can you repeat that? Sorry, you just froze a little bit.
So I said the pot pie was hitting. I don't ever remember having such a delicious pot pie. And you keep in mind, it's all breaded, right? So you can't be graceful eating it. So there's like, breadcrumbs falling out of my mouth. But I'm like, listen, we all looked crazy.
Are you watching people eat first before you take your bite? Or you just like, nah, I'm going to do me?
No, I understand the assignment most places that I go. So because I was around at the table that I was seated at, I was around veterans, Academy veterans, and apparently people who've been in the industry for a minute. So I kind of waited to see like how this goes before I dug in. And once I saw people not giving an F, I was just like, oh, I'm at home.
Okay. Okay. All right. But you checked first. You made sure. Of
course I did. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Yeah, because you never know who's watching you, so you got to be in your P's and Q's.
So I'll never forget. I worked in fitness industry. I worked at Equinox, and Debbie Allen came in, and I acted a fool. So the reason why I bring this up, I mean, Debbie Allen, just fame. It was everything to me that as a kid. So I was like, and everyone's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Do you not know who this woman is and what they've done?" And so it's funny because she won the award a few years back. And then on top of that, so my point of me asking this is, was there anybody you were like, oh man, I might lose it. I might lose in this room tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I might lose it tonight. And did you get to talk to anybody that maybe was an influence to you growing up, or anybody that inspired you in any way?
Absolutely. Ava DuVernay.
Oh, okay. All right, Ava.
She was in the building. And I remember because it was towards the end of the night and I'm standing close to the exit / bar, right? I was waiting for somebody else to finish having a conversation so I can bid them adieu. And so I see Ava walking in my direction. I guess she was headed out. So I say to myself, like, Ellen, this is
it.
This is your shoot it. So she's by herself, so it's perfect. So I dart out in her path, and I'm like, "Hey, hi Ava, I'm Ellen with BlackFilm.com. I just wanted to say to you that I love you. I admire your work. I think you're beautiful." And she's like, "I remember you," and my jaw dropped, and I looked at her like, "Wait, what? You me?" like out of all the people that she talks to, all the journalists and media correspondents that she talked to, she remembered me. But I think it's a combo of the name blackfilm.com and then Ellen.
No. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a time out. Please do your due diligence and check out blackfilm.com. Check out Ellen's interviews. I mean, I'm still learning, but she hits home on any interview she ever does. I mean, you don't understand. We talk behind the scenes about her interview. She was nervous about this and that. The Tyler Perry's, the Samuel Jacksons. She's knocking it out of the park. So please, don't down yourself like that. You kill it. You kill it.
I appreciate that. And so, you know, we go through the small talk and I say to her, listen, can we take a selfie together? And she's like, of course. And then somebody else kind of comes in the mix and interrupts our vibe. And, so, and in my mind, I'm like, how dare you, whoever you are. And, you know, she
it's like The Bachelor, right? It's like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm having my moment, please. Can you get away, please?
I only have 5 minutes. Can I have my moment? So she talks in it maybe for like 5 seconds, but what she does is, you know, she stops them and says, all right, you know what, give me a second. I don't want to keep Ellen waiting, right? And so this whole time she has a death grip on my arm. So I'm floored because 1, she's holding on to me like we're old chums. And then 2, she's like respectful of my time. And I'm just like, wait, what? And then so she turns, and so however I was holding the camera, I guess just was not good, right? So she turns my physical body in the right direction of the light, holds my phone, my hand up, and turns my camera. And she's like, okay, shoot. So in my mind, I'm like, of course, she's a director. She knows the best angle and the best shot. And we take a selfie, and she hugs me, and it was the most warm and genuine and beautiful exchange I've had. And it taught me how to be, right? How to show up and how I want people to experience me moving forward. So that was my highlight at the Governor's Awards was, you know, interacting with Ava DuVernay.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
At blackfilm.com and at Rewind with Ellen, we also learn things here. We're learning today, ladies and gentlemen, learning. Wow, that's crazy. So before we get into the Oscars, so so you party, you go to that. Is there after hours or no? You're like, you know what? I gotta maintain, not act a fool. Or you like, no, we in LA, let's do it.
No, for sure. I was like, all right, I'm not about that life just yet.
Okay.
Let me maintain some modicum of professionalism. Let me say goodbye to who I need to say goodbye to, and let me go home. Okay,
you're going to sleep early. You know.
Mind you, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, I wish there was somewhere else to go, but I'm not about to. Like,
did you hear whispers like, hey, we going to this or that? Or you were like, nah, I'm just going to go.
So at the table that I was sitting at, I met another really dope connection, someone that works at the Academy, a young woman. And she was like, so what are you doing after this? And I'm like, PJ's home, my temporary home. And so I asked her, and she's like, oh, there's this such and such party. And I'm just like, okay, because I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to invite I'm not going to do any of that. And of course she didn't, you know, it's not like she was like, do you what? So I was like, listen, just take your cue, Ellen, take your ass to your temporary house.
We got to work on that, Ellen. We got to work on that invite. We got to work. There's a way to get that invite. Listen,
I'm not so worried about the invites. Those will come. I was more concerned with making that connection with her.
Okay.
And it happened. So I was like, okay, you know what? If this is all that needed to happen tonight, I'm good with that. So shout out to Sai. Shout out to Sai. She's awesome, beautiful human being, and just additional Black girl magic happening behind the scenes.
Okay. So Saturday comes before the big day. Now, when I originally spoke to you, I said, hey, you know what, Ellen, I'm sure you have an outfit picked out, but for me, like for Halloween, what I always do is I try the outfit on before the actual day. And the reason why I do that is because you never know what's going to happen. Like, you know, a button might fall off, too tight. Oh my God, I'm sweating too much. Like too many layers, like what's happening. So tell us, what's the weather kind of vibe that weekend? Are you already ready for that? How many outfits did you bring? Are you sold on one? What's going on there?
So I was set and sold on my my dress for Friday, right? So I
Okay.
have all the accessories that come with that. I was definitely sold on my dress for Sunday. And then I had like 3 other outfits in case I went out Saturday, in case I went out Monday and Tuesday. So I was very conscious about not overpacking, which I tend to do. I kind of feel like I did, but I think I did it well. And so after our conversation, like a week or 2 prior to me flying out to LA, when you mentioned, yo, try on everything, make sure it works, wardrobe malfunctions. And I never thought about that. So I had at least maybe 2 to 3 wardrobe changes leading up to that.
This is what we do. We assist here as well, ladies and gentlemen. Assist.
We learn, we support, we assist. I love it.
Okay.
And so I really got a chance to visualize like my aesthetic, walk around in my heels, like do all of that. And it ended up helping. So thanks for dropping that gem. Who knew you would be the one dropping those hints?
I'm very metro, ladies and gentlemen. Very metro. Very metro. Okay. So here's the thing. I used to live out in LA. A lot of people don't know that. I lived out in LA from 2011 to 2016. So I know Oscar weekend. It's crazy. They shut down everything. So my life sucks. If you live in Hollywood, you hate it. But if you don't, you like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. See all this stuff. But they shut down everything.
Right.
From even like the basketball courts that you would normally play ball, they put something up. So Compton probably wasn't happy when Beyonce was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video over here today.
Beautiful.
I can't even imagine, we're going to get that later, but I can't even imagine the security that had to be in Compton for that to go down. But that's another story. So anyway, there's a time difference, right? LA is 3 hours behind. So for us on the East Coast, we're seeing the Oscars at 8 o'clock. So that means everything's going down at 5. So what does that mean? Like, take us through your day, how it starts on Sunday. What's the prep like? I mean, are you like, hey, I got to be here and here by certain times? What's that all about?
So I pre-planned my day down to the hour, right? So
oh, wow.
I knew that I wouldn't be running the street Saturday night because I needed my beauty rest. I needed to get my mind right. Like, I didn't want anything get in the way of me getting to the Oscars on time and in one piece. So,
at Black Film, we are on time. Yes, blackfilm.com, on time.
And so, yeah, so the Sunday morning, started. It's funny because I woke up like around 4 o'clock that morning because my phone went off, and I usually have my phone on silent, but I'd forgotten to turn it off. So Alex, our blackfilm.com colleague who lives in LA, also attended the Oscars. We rolled together. So she texts with a question, and that wakes me up. And so we, have like a 2-hour text exchange about all the possibilities and all the craziness. So maybe I slept for like another hour and a half, but I was up by like 10:30, 11. No, actually I was up at 9 because I had my makeup artist was coming at 11 a.m. Shout out to.
Is this provided for you or like?
No.
So walk us through that. For Oscars, are they providing anything for you or no, you have to kind of pack it all together and figure it out?
Right. You got to figure that out, especially if
you're
a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? So much appreciation to Donna Torrance, who's also another blackfilm.com staff.
Shout out Donna. Hello, Donna.
And / publicist / marketing exec and all of that. She referred this woman called Val Ezra to me. Val had done Donna's makeup for the Grammys, I think in 2017 or something like that. Anyway, so I kind of went out on a limb and, accepted this, not knowing like, what's my makeup going to look like? I hope to God this is going to look good because I remember for my birthday a couple of years ago, it was a total disaster. So I'm scarred from that. So she gets there and we hit it off and she beats my face and she just transforms me. I swear it was.
You look, honestly, your pictures are amazing. You look beautiful. You look beautiful. I was like, is she getting an award tonight? She's nominated? I didn't know.
It was that dress, man. As simple as it was, it did something. I feel like it what's the word that I'm looking for? It really spoke to my personality type, right? Like I like class.
You didn't look awkward in it. No, some of you try something like it looked like that was you. You represented it was like almost like a Black Panther moment. Like that's your outfit, that's your costume. That's I'm sorry, I'm going deep right now, but that's what I felt when I saw that. I was like, oh, Wakanda forever. I was
not Wakanda. I love it.
Black film.
I truly felt comfortable in my skin, in my power, in my purpose. I felt like I belonged. So the stars really aligned with that entire weekend, down to what I wore and how I looked and how I felt. And so Alex was scheduled to meet me where I was staying, like at 2:15. Our car service, which was provided by the Academy, was picking us up at 2:45 p.m. Right?
What time do you have to be there?
Well, in normal Black folk fashion, like we were like.
Again, this is not representative of blackfilm.com. It's Black Folks. It's separate. It's two separate things. Blackfilm.com and Black Folks is separate.
Listen, that is so true and very accurate. So we had to like be there in our seats like by 4, right? But the red carpet show was between like 1 and 3:30. But because there were so many people booking this Academy provided rideshare service, you had to take your slot where you took your slot.
Whatever you can get, yeah.
I was it because we weren't about to jump in an Uber. Like we're not pulling up in a 2004 Camry. You know what I mean? Like we're pulling up in something.
That would have been hysterical though. Honestly, I love the idea of it. Like, hey, we ready? All right.
And I don't even own a car, so I'm not even trying to be extra about it. But I knew
off the bus, like, hey, what's up? We here.
Trying to pull up at and then we were getting dropped off at the red carpet. I could see if it was around the corner, then we could walk up like we were just dropped off by a limo. But no, because our car was credentialed, we pulled up right to the Oscars, the red carpet, which was an experience in and of itself. Just being there with all that heightened excitement and just seeing every.
Hold on 1 second, everybody. She froze again.
I'm like, it's showtime, baby. And then we,
Ellen, you froze again for a second there. Question I want to ask you. So what's the nostalgia like before you get to you're saying like, but really like in the car, are you saying to yourself like, oh my God, I might meet this or I might do this? Like, what's the energy like? The ladies in the car, is it like bachelorette night kind of energy in the car? Like what kind of energy is the guy playing like crazy music, or are you just playing some symphony stuff? Like what's going on in the car? Walk us through that.
So we had a female driver.
Okay. So
what was cool about this rideshare, this car service, was that I pre-selected the music vibe before.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So it was like it was low key, like retro independent. So it was calming, but it was a bop, right? And I think it was instrumental. And I remember Alex saying to me, like, how did you know to play this? Like, this is a mood. And I was like, yep. You're welcome, Alex. You're welcome.
So you had a soundtrack to your own life. All right. I respect that.
Right? That. So, I mean, the ride over was a mixture of nerves and excitement and disbelief and WTF, like we're actually riding together.
Yeah.
And what was so unique about that moment for Alex and I was that's the first time we've met in person. And we've worked together in blackfilm.com for going on 3 years, right?
Oh, wow.
Because of the pandemic, we never got a chance to meet. So I said to her, like, wow, when one day when we're rich and famous, Alex, we'll say that we met at the Oscars, which is, it's true. And that's kind of dope. So,
Put into existence. There we go.
So the ride was epic. And also because, Hollywood Boulevard, it's unique, right? With all the road closures, there was only credentialed cars that were allowed to go in a specific route. But on the sidewalk were all these protesters. I'm talking anti-abortion, Jesus loves you, you're going to hell for, being a part of this a film industry machine. Like it was chaos outside of the car. So when you think about that juxtaposition of like where we're going and why we're going and how we feel about it, contrasted with like you're gonna die for being part of the Oscars. You're gonna like it was insane. But Alex and I are like, pass me the glass of champagne. Like we blocked that out.
But I have to say though, the Oscars really touched on different things. The Ukraine situation, the energy. I mean, it was being mindful of women in power. Like it was a lot of topics they kind of not I don't want to say brushed over, but put time into the show. So it's kind of crazy, like the opinions that these people had outside. But had they been inside or actually watched it, they would see, oh wow, this actually changed. And I get it; it's a machine that kind of just pumps out certain things. But there are some genuine people that have valid points and are trying to change the world. Jessica Chastain, her speech was amazing, right? It's just like so there were a lot of things out there to help move things in certain directions. And it's kind of sad they don't really give it the time or opportunity.
Yeah, the protesters don't care about any of that.
Just want to be heard.
They want you to know that Jesus loves you, and you should be against abortion. Like they don't care about anything that's going on outside of what they believe, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Hollywood. Listen, I live in New York City, and it's crazy Times Square. But Hollywood Boardwalk is insane. I've never when I lived there, I was shocked. It just like, how does this place exist? It is crazy on top of crazy. So I can't even imagine that kind of energy that was out there. So you go in there, you brush your shoulders up like, hey, that ain't affecting us. We go in there, black woman power. We going in there strong, representing blackfilm.com. What's the setup like? Are they putting you in a place where you're gonna meet and greet, or you're just like, hey, how much time do I have before it all goes down? Walk us through that.
So we didn't know that there were two entrances to the red carpet. In my mind going in, I'm like, oh, we're going to be walking over here next to Tiffany Haddish and next to Beyonce and Jay-Z. Like, yeah, like we belong here. No, we're press, right? So press, and we were press in the sense that we were attending to cover post, right?
Okay.
Not to cover in the moment. So we were kind of ushered to like this adjacent red carpet entrance. And I remember Alex and I kind of looking at each other like disappointed, like we were watching all the magic happen over there to the left as we're over here walking on the right. But we were like, you know what? It's all good. We are here. That's all that matters. And so we walk in and it's beautiful, right? It's just red carpet everywhere, gold and red carpet. It kind of felt like we were in a palace. It was weird, but beautiful. We take pictures, we walk up the red carpet stairs, and just there's people and just buzzing excitement everywhere. And we spent a good 10, 15 minutes looking for our seats and being sort of shuffled up and down looking for our seats. But what was great is that on each level there was a bar. So that's where the party started in a sense.
So you actually are attending the Oscars as well?
Yes.
But they just have you up in the nosebleeds.
Not the very top nosebleeds,
okay.
But they have us with all other press people.
Okay, so press gets one area, the middle level, not like we don't care about you, but hey, give you a little love.
Right. Like
anybody big come up on the floor?
I needed binoculars to maybe like spot in the like. It wasn't that bad though.
Okay, all right. So you're going through that. It starts. So first of all, shout out to the ladies, Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina Hall. I thought that was a great energy. Funny story, I saw Amy Schumer open up at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and she did her whole act. She's like, hey, I want to tell everybody. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, she's doing the Oscars. But then she made it seem like it was only her. But then all the ladies were involved. So I got to see, and I knew her jokes already. So it was actually cool to see what kind of worked, because she tested it on us in the audience, right? And she pitched something. I was like, ugh, I don't know if that's going to go. But I love the Will Smith one about the dad. Like, we're representing women, and we're going to celebrate the father, of course. So that was a good one there. But I felt the energy was amazing to start off with. Also, the Beyonce performance, oh my God. It felt like everything was around this movie, I love that. Before, are you kidding me? In Compton?
Something, right.
I was like, I think they're in Hollywood behind this park I used to know. And then I'm like, oh no, they ain't Compton.
They're in Compton. And so shout out to James Samuels, the director and writer of The Harder They Fall. He directed that video. And shout out to Fatima, the choreographer, who brought all that together. I mean, initially I thought that it was going to be like an in-building performance.
Yeah.
And quickly realized like, oh no, they are in Compton somewhere. But B was right. She was somewhere down there. But it was breathtaking, and just what a beautiful homage to the Williams family, I thought, and to use the tennis color to represent like
Oh my
God.
Who knew green could be so beautiful? Who knew that tennis green could be so beautiful? I mean, I felt shout out to Beyonce again. I mean, honestly, I might have teared a little bit because it was so beautiful to see that, and young Black women just dancing, and you could feel the joy. Oh man, I might tear up right now. I'll tell you, man, that's a moment we don't get a lot of those.
Yeah.
And to see that, and just it jumped off the screen. And I don't care who you are, man. It just felt good to me. Like, yes. And instead of representing Compton in a negative way, it was positive. There was a Black person on a horse right down Compton, and you dance with love and passion. And I was like, oh, it was everything it could be. So I was like, okay, we're going to start this Oscars off right. Did you feel that energy in the building?
Oh, absolutely. The visuals were dope. Everyone was transfixed on that screen. I felt so proud yet again to be Black, to be a Black woman. Like that's what her performance did for me, and I'm sure everybody else. Like, but she has the ability through her music just to make somebody feel like, yo, it is the greatest thing on earth to be Black.
Yeah.
And I support that wholeheartedly. You could tell that she put a lot of work and a lot of effort into that performance. She had her daughter, Blue Ivy, in it at the end. And everyone was kind of like, shocked in silence, just watching it and appreciating it for what it was.
Yeah, Beyonce, at the end, when it's all said and done, she will go down as one of the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, she just knocks it out of the park all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, energy's calming down.
Dun, dun, dun.
Something happens later, right? Chris Rock comes out, and the smack that was heard around the world. So I spoke to you about this. I guess we'll give our both sides on that. But first, tell me what that felt like in the moment. I remember watching it from home, and I was like, "Oh!" And everyone's like, "Oh, that was staged." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think so. I really don't think so." So, tell me what you thought. What everybody was saying. Was there a big gasp? Like what was the energy like that night or in that moment?
Leading up to that moment, so the vantage point you all had watching it from home was it was up close and personal.
Yeah.
Right? So we didn't have that same. I didn't have that same vantage point, right? Like I saw movement. I heard it. Like I saw it, but it wasn't up close and personal. So I remember leading up to that. I think I might have been on my phone.
Yeah.
So I remember Alex sort of like reacting in a way that made me look up, right? And that's when I saw Will walk up on stage. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is about to be a home moment. Two icons about to like share a beautiful Black man moment. And then, we see that his hand cock all the way back, and we see Chris respond and react. In that moment, I thought it was a skit, as I'm sure a lot of people did. Just because like Chris was still smiling or laughing. And then Will, when he walked away, the way he walked off was it was weird. It wasn't like I just assaulted somebody. He almost had a sense of pride in the way that he walked off with a lot of bravado. And so that's what made me believe additionally, like, oh, this was a skit. But then there was this hush in the room, right? So I'm looking around and people are just like faces are contorted. Like, I think I got it then, like, wait a minute. All right, so we're all on the same page about what just happened and we're all responding and reacting the same way. Got it. What truly sunk it in for me was when Chris attempted to announce the next category, which was Questlove's, which he ended up winning for Summer Soul, and he fumbled in the beginning. And so you could tell that he was visibly shaken up and flustered. For me, in that moment, I realized like, oh snap, this just happened, and we just witnessed it. You could cut the tension in the room with a knife. It was awkward. It was uncomfortable. People didn't know what to do and how to respond. If it wasn't for Chris Rock making that initial joke right after it happened, I don't know what would have happened. And I recognize that the audio was cut off at some point, right? So you all hear Will in that moment say, you know, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. So we heard that.
And so it's weird that you're saying you thought it was real. You really were in the moment after Chris Rock said something, but Will Smith yelling, keep my wife's name, that still didn't really.
I was still like, surely surely Will Smith would not like make a decision to do that on live TV. Surely this man knows better than to do that. Like, I still had hope, like a little bit of hope. But then that quickly, you know, dwindled.
And did the phones just take off? Because I remember, I mean, bzz, 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 like it's just like it was wildfire in less than like 2 seconds. I was like, boom, 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 boom.
If they did, I wasn't paying attention. I was transfixed on the stage, and yeah. But what's weird is just as quickly as it happened, it's just as quickly as it was over and back to regular programming.
Yeah.
But it visibly changed the course of the night, right? Because that's all people could talk about. It overshadowed everybody's wins. It was terrible. And then when Will won the Oscar, and I prayed like, yo, I hope this man wins this Oscar because it's going to be horrible. If he doesn't, maybe he will atone for his actions in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then he didn't, as it relates to apologizing to Chris Rock. But instead, he talked about being a vessel of light and love. But you just smacked somebody on national TV, another Black icon. So why are you talking about being a vessel of light and love? So that was confusing for me. There's so many conflicted emotions about this. I mean, what was your takeaway? Like, how did you feel about it?
So I'm a big Chris Rock fan. I've seen him stand up so many times. I'm a big Will Smith fan too. I mean, bad boys for life. So again, I've seen their faces enough. I don't know. I'll just say, if people are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I was like, no. I can just tell it was off. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, nah, man, I think that's real. And then when I heard, saw the videos and see him cursing, I was like, oh, this is definitely real. And Chris handled like a professional. I mean, what were you gonna do? And I remember we had this talk in the barbershop, and I was like, you know what? Oh no, sorry, I was at a bar, and he was like, Will Smith's probably one of the few people in the world that can walk straight up into your face, right? Into your comfort zone, and you'll be like, hey, what's up, Will? You don't expect that. And that's what they say, when people get killed, not to go on another story, but when it's an intimate death, it's someone that 9 times out of 10, it's intimate because you let somebody get that close to you. And so to let Will's probably one of the people, right, of all the actors in the world that you're like, Will ain't gonna hit me. Of all people, I'm gonna expect him. And I think that's what Chris Rock thought, right? Chris like, he probably gonna whisper something in my ear, like, yo, man, that's not respectful, blah. And that's what I was thinking. But then when I saw the smack, and then comedians went left and right. I mean, like the Wild Wild West, and I hate and love that movie because anytime it's on, I watch it. But like that was the Wild Wild West smack, and then the bravado walk back. So I was like, wow, where are we at with this? And so people want to cancel Will. People want to cancel Jada. I don't agree with that. I think the Kardashians have done way worse to America and to people of color. Sorry, I'm taking shots right now. But then Will and what Jada have done. So that's the first thing I'll say. When it comes to relationships, Earthquake knocked it out of the park. You got to listen to his interview on 105.1 the other day, and he was saying, if Jada really loved him, you don't let your husband do that or get in a situation like that, or even speak up for him. I mean, she's been torturing him for a long time with the whole Tupac stuff and then the affair. And again, we don't know what Will is doing on the side. I get that. But, I think we would come to Jada's defense if it was on the other foot and Will was sort of acting like Jada has been acting. And so I don't know, man. Love is tough and relationships are tough when you build a foundation, a family around that. And Will is always preaching about love and life and all these things. And so that's the only thing that I got annoyed at is when people that preach all this stuff. There's only two people that have disappointed me celebrity wise in my life. And I was a big Kevin Hart fan. I read his book and then he had the affair on his wife. And I was like, wow, man, it's crazy when you see positive brothers doing the right thing and doing all these things and really making it up and just motivating people. But then they do that stuff. And again, if you can do it, but don't be married and get all these other people involved. Practice what you preach. And that's the only thing that ever pisses me off. And people talk out the mouth all the time. And then a situation happens to them and they turn around and do their own thing, right? And so that was the only thing that kind of turned me off. I'm going to see Chris Rock this summer. So hopefully by then he'll have his act kind of tailored. I mean, and really we can speak on that because I can't even imagine, man, that your whole no one will remember Will Smith probably winning that Oscar, but they will remember that smack for the rest of their lives, right? And so that's something that he has to live with as a comedian, as a person, as a Black person, as a dad, as a brother. So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. The memes and the jokes, I mean, wow. And then you got T.I. the other day going over to another comedian. So does that give rights to people now to step to comedians? I mean, we'll really like open up Pandora's box. And so I don't know how we can kind of rectify everything and get back to a base where we can laugh and enjoy stuff. Because I don't think, I mean, those are like big. Last thing I'll say on this. G.I. Jane is an inspiring movie if you've ever seen that movie. She's a beautiful woman saying that she's strong, she's smart, she's educated, and she can do anything a man can do, but even better. And so when I saw that, I mean, I get the look, but I mean, Jada's always had that look. So I didn't take it as personal as everybody else did. So for that, it is what it is. But that's my 2 cents on it.
I mean, it's hard to make the call on whether the joke was appropriate or not, right? Because it's based on the fact that Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia, which is a hair loss condition. It's a disease, right? So if she had cancer, which also forces you to or due to chemotherapy and was sporting the same look, would we be responding and reacting the same way? And so how do you weigh like what disease outweighs the other? And okay, maybe Chris Rock didn't know that she had alopecia. I find that hard to believe, but comedians are going to comedian, right? And so
it's the Oscars. That's his job. That's his job.
However, for every cause, there is an effect, right? You make an insensitive joke, which is how she took it. And then you can't really gauge how someone's emotional response or reaction, what that's going to look like. Unfortunately, in regards to Will Smith, it looked a hot ass mess. Ooh. He should have known better, right? So then that's a whole other conversation about where his emotional management and intelligence, like where exactly that lies. And so there's so much to unpack. And so it's fascinating to see just where people are and how divided it's kind of put us in the Black community, even beyond the Black community. You got white folks saying they're
trauma. Oh yeah, what you think about this before I say my opinion?
and so I find it a little, sad that there are people that are saying, oh, how dare that white person say it's traumatizing. It's hard for me to watch that, right? It's traumatizing. Right? Especially when you think about Chris Rock's history. Like he has been assaulted, he's been held at gunpoint. Like he's been through some shit that has caused him to seek therapy for a long time, right? So then he gets assaulted again on a worldwide stage. And like if you zoom into his face right after that, you see him like reliving that trauma. That is very difficult to watch and it's sad. It's heartbreaking, right? So I don't know that it has anything to do with color. Like a white person can feel the same damn way you feel in terms of, that was horrible. That was horrible to watch.
But it sets us back. I think that's the reason though.
Okay, I get that it sets us back, right? Because we're black, but is it a color? Like, is it a color thing? Like, or is it a human thing? Like, I find it hard to believe that.
Oh, it's definitely a human thing, but there's certain people that are on that echelon that are like, oh, you see, that's why we can't invite him anymore.
Course, right? We can't escape that. But we also got to remember that we are not perfect, right? And I hate that cliche.
Yeah,
because we know that we're not perfect, right? Will Smith can present as a squeaky clean, human being, with values and morals, but also mess up over here, like that.
Yeah.
We do that every day, so I'm not quite sure why people are making it out to be like, as intense as it is. But also on Chris Rock's side, it is intense. He was assaulted, and we watched that. So it's a lot. And also another argument is, like, I think you mentioned this, Jada should have done something in that moment. She should have stopped him. What should she have done? Like, grabbed for his leg and pulled him back? Or like, we're assuming that she might have whispered something in his ear, like, go get him, or
she did the look. I saw the look. She was like,
I mean, and what was funny is not funny. What was crazy is that initially she laughed.
Yeah.
And maybe like a few seconds later, her face morphed into, I wasn't really feeling that. So maybe that's what Will caught. But also, I heard that there's history between them and Chris Rock, and Chris making jokes about them in the past.
He's hitting her every year he gets up to.
So it's a culmination of a lot that we don't fully understand. So I don't get why we're so like gung ho on shitting on Will Smith, and for those that are shitting on Chris Rock. So, there are a couple of people that are leaving comments right now. So shout out to Rashad, who's back.
Rashad, what's up?
Rashad, I don't know where you went, but I know. I'm glad you're back. I'm like, have you forsaken us, Rashad? What's happening?
Doesn't like us at all. All right.
Nivek is watching live from YouTube. Hi, Nivek. He says, Ava is cool people. We have the same lactician, Marlene from BK. Hey, Marlene. So listen, Rashad feels some type of ways about this Will Smith and Chris Rock scenario. Check out his unpopular opinion on that, which will be on our website soon. Also, shout out to, who else is on here? You got Kima Jones. Hey, Kima. The smack overshadowed everything. Absolutely. So Rashad is chiming in. Oh boy. Okay, he's hot. He's hot.
He going in deep.
He said if he had kept that man's wife's name out of his mouth, he wouldn't have got popped. Facts. That's facts.
Shot. It's the Oscars. I'm Chris Rock. I'm a comedian.
I know.
Actually, Wanda Sykes had a harsher joke on Jada early in the night. People forget that. Like that. Like, I'm just saying. Like, if you want to go tit for tat,
it wasn't centered around a medical condition.
All right.
It's touchy. It's touchy. But yeah, it happens.
Not everybody watches the Red Table Talk. All right, not everybody watches that.
Come on now.
Listen, I'm just saying, not everybody watches it.
So, are you going to watch when Will and Jada get on the Red Table Talk and talk about it?
I can't subscribe to that at this point. I mean, what? It's going to do nobody any good. It's going to be no one big. I mean, if they had a third party there and actually someone to talk to them, I would actually watch that, because I think there's another level of therapy that they need together to heal. Right. Because I mean, Will, I don't know, man. Doesn't look good.
Yeah, Rashad just made a good point. That slap was more than a joke. Absolutely, it was. Absolutely. And so
again,
why do you
read
think?
The room.
Yeah. Ro, why do you think Will slapped him as opposed to punch him?
Oh, let me tell you something. I'm over 40. If the biggest sign of disrespect is to slap some dude, especially in public, oh, hell's yeah. It's just one thing. And if you hit somebody just right, because he didn't even like retaliate. That's a smack that's just like, did you just smack? A punch is like, yo, let's go. No, but a smack is like, oh, did you just disrespect me? Your pride is taken away. That hits on such another level. It's just like, oh my God, everything is gone. Everything is gone after that.
It was such a dramatic slap. Like, Jesus Christ. It was
He acted that one real good.
He did. It was theatrical, like really well.
I'm not just going to smack you, sir. I'm going to smack you ever so gently.
Yeah. So do you think that networks and companies are justified in pulling back or stopping production or
Well,
hold his projects?
Well, here's the thing, right? What's the penalty? I thought about like, do you lose the Oscar? Like, what's to prevent some dumbass to go up there and do this again, or even worse, right? And so you have to set the bar and do something, right? There has to be. I mean, I don't think he should lose his Oscar, but something has to happen, right? Where you're like, you know what, man, I learned a valuable lesson. Otherwise, you're gonna have copycats that come up there. I mean, we can think back to when Kanye just rushed the stage at like the VMAs. It was like, okay, he didn't hit anybody, but he did that, and I was like, that's not cool. It's very disrespectful. But this is the next level, right? So it's like, where do you go from there? Also, as comedians, I listened to a couple of meetings. They were like, I fear for my life now because now you're opening up a door where people feel comfortable. Again, that ain't gonna happen in no comedy club. Security will jump in your face in a second.
Right.
But out in the streets and stuff like that. I mean, so we got to the Me Too movement. Everybody's held accountable for all these things. I mean, are we being oversensitive about this, or aren't we being oversensitive about this? I mean, that's a big question. Is that setting the tone? Now I can't be funny, or I can't be, the point of it is to laugh, right? To laugh about the things that are uncomfortable about us, about each other. And I felt legitimately that was his job, and that's what he was out there to do. You're not having just anybody present an award. It's Chris Rock because you want to get some laughs. Okay, let's tone it up again. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, right, at the end of the day, or wait until next year, because technically the winner has to present the award to that person. So it would be lovely if Chris Rock and Will presented the award together, and then that Chris was allowed to smack him.
So Rashad just said, "Oh, please." So now any comedian that gets heckled is Will Smith's fault? Stop.
Yeah, Rashad, yes. Because it's the biggest, Rashad, it's not your backyard, it's the biggest stage. Are you kidding me? Yes. There's only two other places where you could slap somebody and it would be heard around the world. Buckingham Palace and at the White House. This is the third biggest stage. So yes, when you smack somebody on the third biggest stage, yes, you open up Pandora's box. I'm sorry. Yes, any other place, I would agree with you, Rashad, but only because it was broadcast. Listen, they had the president of Ukraine on television, people. Like the world was watching this. I don't know if people understand that. Like people were watching this one. That's all I'm saying. Don't get me worked up, Rashad. Don't get me worked up.
So he used the word heckled, right? Heckling has been happening. That's never going to stop. We're talking about putting hands on somebody. Because that wasn't happening before Will Smith. So if it does happen now, people are dumb enough to feel like, well, if Will Smith did it, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. That's not
people copycat celebrities all the time. But this half our world is represented by people that do stupid stuff because someone else did.
Right.
I saw it on TikTok. Oh, let me do it.
What?
Come on.
Rashad just said, "Listen, I've been worked up for a week." Yeah, he has. Okay. We all have, Rob. We all have. So what would have been dope was if Will would have walked up on that stage and grabbed the mic and made that a teachable moment, right?
Yeah.
So all the people.
Oh yeah, I mean, Will could have knocked that out of the park and then set the bar for when he gave his speech later. It could have
went so many different directions for all the people who are saying, Will Smith could have done something differently, like that could have gone completely different, right? So if we're talking about him being a role model, that was a prime time to not only teach Chris Rock, who apparently didn't know that she had alopecia, or people saying that he didn't know, to let him know, like, listen, I'm triggered. Let me explain why, and then talk about, like, educate us all on alopecia. But no, he got him emo and let his emotions get the best of him. And so this is where we are today. He resigned from the Academy, which means he was stripped of his voting rights. He can still get nominated. He can still win. but he's no longer a member of the Academy, which every actor has to be, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to take his Oscar. I don't see that happening. He's Will Smith. Will he be back next year? I can see him coming back next year, right? Because by that, I imagine he's going to go on a campaign or not of atonement, right? And trying to figure out how he can atone differently and be welcomed back. Or he doesn't really care because he's Will Smith and he's like, hey, whatever. My career is not going to change. We're going to forget about this in a month. Something new is going to come up. And no one's going to be talking about this, much like every other scandal that has happened before us.
I would actually like the table talk with Chris Rock there.
I hope that happens. I hope that happens between Chris and Will.
Yeah, red table with
right.
Chris Rock there. That's a conversation. That's something I would tune into.
But Chris Rock would need to talk about it first on his own before he
comes
to have a conversation with Will Smith.
Okay. So
really quickly, Rashad says the Academy better not take back his award, but they will punish him. His resignation was a good way to get ahead of it, but they won't leave it at that. Right. The only way they can clean this up is if they get Chris and Will at the table talk, but that won't happen. I don't know. Never say never.
Give the fans what they want.
What were you gonna say, bro?
So I was gonna wrap it up basically on the interview with you, just basically saying, it's been a week now. You have had a week to digest everything and kind of walk through it all. Is there anything you would have done differently? What are your kind of changes you would make for next year?
Anything I would have done differently? I think I would have rolled up on the people I've interviewed in the past more. Like the only person I rolled up on was Ava. There were a ton of people I've talked to there. But it wasn't easy to get to them, right? Like, I wasn't walking around looking for people all night, especially at the ball. Oh my God, the ball, that was like a whole other situation. So I think next year, just be a little bit more aggressive in inserting myself diplomatically and creatively, of course. And then next year, blackfilm.com, I would want us to be on the red carpet talking to celebrities and people that we've interviewed before. So that's the goal, hoping that we get invited again next year and hoping that you and I can be doing that and making that happen together. Because I swear I thought about you a whole bunch of times in terms of like networking and schmoozing the room and just, doing what we do. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to for next year.
All right. Well, that was beautiful. Oh, one last thing. I want to thank you, Ellen, for a gift.
Ooh, your Kenyan mask. That's
hello. Is this represent anything, or is this part of a certain tribe? No, you don't know.
It represents manhood. It's a man mask, and it's
man. Yes, ladies, the man mask. I might shoot, girl. You go. Oh, all right. Peekaboo.
You like it? You like it?
I actually do. I'm gonna find a place
to
hang it up. It might not go with the green, but I'll find a nice area for it in the house. But thank you. I appreciate it. Tell your mama hi.
I will. Oh, I'm sure she's listening. Mom, did you hear that? Your favorite person said hi. I think it should go in the back just because it's a good conversation piece and you can arrange it right. I just took control over your artwork. I'm so sorry. I have control issues, but it would make for a good conversation piece.
We learn more and more about Ellen every show. It's great. It's great.
Bro, I appreciate you so much for even wanting to inquire about this weekend. I love you. This was Bro's idea to interview me and ask really dope questions. So shout out to you, bro.
Thank you.
I love you, bro.
Oh, girl, you're gonna make me cry until you don't do it. Don't do it. Thank you.
It is what it is. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I mean, hey, you always make me work harder and better. Couldn't sleep all night. I was like, oh man, Ellen gonna look at me crazy if I don't ask this question and ask that. So I had to make sure to come to correct. So thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. Thank you, blackfilm.com. I'm so excited for the future of where blackfilm.com is going. This is huge, huge, huge. And thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm ready to rock this ship. Let's go.
We're happy to have you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Rashad. Rashad says, great recap. For your first Oscars, you picked the right one to go to. You ain't never lie, Rashad. You ain't never lie. Like, who knew?
Right? That's true. You know what? That's true. That's true. Blackfilm.com was there.
And shout out to Will Packer. He's, he produced this, right? He's Black, right? So
what were the ratings? Anybody know? I haven't heard the ratings. I
heard somebody say like this was the highest rated, but I don't know if that's fact.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't heard of it. It's like we have actual numbers.
Right. It's not hard to believe though, because everybody
was talking about it, at least.
But what was crazy about this, it was Black. It was Black. You could tell that it was produced.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Blackity black. Blackity black.
Woo! It was yeah. Okay. So Rashad just confirmed the ratings were up from last year, but they were still low. Ugh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
But I get so you know what? This is the show like on the re-up next year. If he got to do it again, because everybody's like, "Oh, did you hear what happened last year? Oh, something's gotta be good this year."
There's an interesting article on Vanity Fair about the dwindling of the Oscars or the purpose of the Oscars. So check it out. It's an interesting read on Vanity Fair. I forget the name of the author, but it's there on the front page. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Rashad, as always, it's nice to have you back. Like, don't be disappearing like that. Like, pop in to say something.
Say hi.
It's just say hi. All right. You have yourself a good weekend, Ro. It was a pleasure.
You as well.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.